to circumstances, the following video was recorded with a potato. Hopefully this won't happen again. If it does, blame the Swedish Migration Agency.
Disclaimers first.
I'm not a music theory scholar by any stretch of the imagination, and I have no idea if what I'm saying is correct from an academic point of view. So why am I talking about modes? I don't think I'm alone in my experience, and I think people out there make it so confusing for people like me. So I want to try to simplify things in a way that made sense to me. Because don't forget, we're here to express ourselves in the realm of art, not to score well on a test, but maybe to score well. Moving on. Today we're here to talk about the church modes, or the modes of the major scale, as they're also called. But to highlight the confusion people have brought upon us all, we're specifically here to talk about the minor modes of the major scale. Some of them anyway. But let me give you some context, and like pretty much all of music theory, let's start with the major scale. As you probably know, this is the major scale. The major scale is also known as the Aeolian mode. This is the reference point for all our scales and modes. When we talk about raised or flattened notes or scale degrees, we mean that relative to the major scale. The major scale is our reference point when it comes to language around theory. In C major, for example, we have the notes C, D, E, F, G, A, B, and then C again. If we're talking about a C major chord, or any major chord, we typically mean a major triad. A triad is made up of a root, a third, and the fifth. To turn it into minor, we simply lower the third 1/2 step. Now we have a minor triad. The minor triad will be the basis for today's discussion about modes, because all the minor modes are based on this minor triad. In my view, the best way to think about modes is as a way to color our major and minor triads, so that's what we're going to focus on today. Sounds simple enough? Great, let's move on. Aeolian is the 6th mode of the major scale. And just like how Ionian is just a Greek word for the major scale, Aeolian is just a Greek word for the minor scale, natural minor to be precise. And maybe you already knew that the 6th note of the major scale is where you find the tonic of its relative minor. Meaning they have the exact same notes, they just have a different home, a different tonic, or a different order if you will. In the case for Ionian, C major is our home base. In the case for Aeolian, A minor is our home base. To make something sound like Aeolian, there are a few notes you need to be extra aware of and pay special attention to. It's the flat 6 in particular. I love that one, I use it all the time. And there's also the major second with the minor third. Let me demonstrate. And on piano. These are the notes and intervals you need to focus on if you want that Aeolian sound. Moving on. Dorian is like Aeolian, but less sad. They both share the major second with the minor third. But the 6th degree in Dorian is not flattened, so instead of a minor 6th, Dorian has a major 6th. This means that to get that Dorian sound, you need to bring out the major 6th, which sets it apart from Aeolian. Let me demonstrate. And on piano. So to really get that Dorian sound, use the major 6 with your minor triad. Moving on. Phrygian, my favorite mode. Just like Aeolian, it has that sad flattened 6th, but it also has a flat second, or a minor second, which gives it its characteristic sound. So just like with Dorian, you only need to change one note from Aeolian, but this time it's the 2nd and not the 6th. Let me demonstrate. There's a darkness there that I just love. And I probably use it way more than I should. and on piano. I also took the liberty to write a bassline little thing to try to demonstrate the feel of the minor modes. Here's how that turned out. This is how I like to visualize the modes. By remembering the formula for each mode or scale, I think of them as scales actually. This way I know that if I'm playing over an A minor chord, let's say, I can choose to color it with Aeolian, Dorian or Phrygian, depending on what I'm going for. Some people teach modes by using the major scale as the reference point, since each of these modes we talked about today are based on the major scale. But I find that to be terribly confusing. For example, if I hear an A minor chord and want to give it a dark, exotic flavor, I think A Phrygian. I don't think of it as play an F major but start on the third note. No, I think play A minor but lower the second. This is how I approach the modes. It makes sense to me. So if you find it useful, use it. If not, then just move on with life, I guess. I would love to hear your comments, your thoughts. How do you think of the modes? How do you use them? Do you use them? Anything you can share, I would love to hear it. And as always, have a lovely day. And thank you for watching. Bye bye.